For a long time now, I've wanted to do a Star Wars TV show tier list, and today I'm going to do just that. Now, with this tier list, I wasn't able to find one that focused on just the essentials or grouped them together. I could only find one that separated all of the Clone Wars, Rebels, Bad Batch, all of the show seasons by season. I was going to make my own and do it separately and go and get all the thumbnails, but I didn't feel like spending all that time, and I just felt like doing this one. We are going to put in the tier list each season of each show, which kind of actually makes it different because season 7 of Clone Wars is better than the rest. So that kind of works in this process. So we'll even start all the way down here. Galaxy of Adventures I have seen. It's been on YouTube. We're just going to put that at D. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't my cup of tea. There's probably 2 episodes out of, I think, 60 that are nice. And they're 3-minute specials, so, I mean, you know. Next, we'll go with Visions. So Visions Season 1 was B. It was pretty freaking awesome. There are really, really good stories in there. Ronin might be my favorite out of that season. It's not canon. They're just fan-made anime and animated shorts, and they're all really awesome in the first season. Second season, we're going to go C. It was still cool. A lot of them were corny. A lot of them just weren't that good. The one that was made by the makers of Wallace and Gromit, that stop motion, clay motion kind of deal, that was fun. The rest of them were just all right. Kenobi. I will put it at D. It was a terrible show. You're going to hear a lot of complaining if you didn't realize that already. It was a really bad show. Their character, Reva, didn't need to exist. And it's a shame for the person who plays her, the actor, because she probably gets a lot of hate. And it's not her fault. The character itself is atrocious. She gets stabbed twice. Once as a kid, once as an adult, by the same person, and just walks away. Like Qui-Gon Jinn gets stabbed once and dies. And that's a common theme, actually, in the newer Star Wars, the Disney Star Wars, where the people just get stabbed willy-nilly and just walk around. It's like, what the heck? The only thing that they did when they brought back Maul, that was okay. But back to Kenobi. Reva's, they focused so much attention on Reva. Why? I don't know. I think it's because Disney wanted to make a new character and say, hey, we're going to shove this in your face, take it, like it, and let's do this. If they do anything else with Reva, I'll never watch it. I will not touch that. That's ridiculous. And the fact that she found out that Luke exists is... no one's supposed to know that. No one's supposed to know that Luke exists. Obi-Wan wasn't even showed that much, and then we have to have him going to save Leia, which I guess was okay. But then Leia is just evading people. There's a whole forest scene where she's running around and they're falling on their shoelaces trying to catch her. Stupid. I could put Kenobi at a B if it was made into a movie. And there is a fan edit. I forget the name of the person who made it. And it makes it a billion times better. I mean, the Grand Inquisitor in the show, he got gutted. He comes back. But someone's like, oh, they got 2 stomachs. That's species. Oh, okay. Yeah, I get it. But it's just, the one thing that was good was the Vader and Obi-Wan fight at the end. That was fantastic. And it was better in the edit because they incorporated the Duel of the Fates and Battle of the Heroes music from Phantom Menace and from Revenge of the Sith, and it made that scene so much better. And the dialogue when Obi-Wan is apologizing to Darth Vader, and Vader says, "You're not my failure, Obi-Wan." Oh my gosh, tearjerker. But the edit, it should have been a movie to begin with, and the edit made that blatantly clear. Removed all of the unnecessary stuff with Reva, but it belongs at a D. The next one is Andor. I'll put it at a D. I still have to rewatch it. But the first time I watched this, I didn't like it. It was bad. I know a lot of other people who love this show. And cinematically, and with the dialogue, it was a fantastic show. For Star Wars purposes, no. And this is another one of the big gripes is Star Wars is owned by Disney. But Disney refuses to, 1, hire people who know and love Star Wars. 2, use Star Wars music within their shows. I mean, Andor sounded nothing like Star Wars. Nothing. didn't sound like it, didn't feel like it. It felt like a Blade Runner type vibe, right? Like, it didn't feel like Star Wars. And to be quite honest, who gives a crap about Cassian Andor? Now, I would give a crap more if the show was done better, and there's going to be a second season, and maybe I should give it a try, but I might not. And I think another issue is that these shows, Kenobi, Andor, Ahsoka, Boba Fett, Mandalorian, they're coming out one episode, or sometimes they'll have a double feature a week. So if you hate an episode, you have to wait a whole week, have that fester, and just irritate the crap out of you. But Kenobi and all the other shows, I've watched all the way through and I binged it, and it feels a lot better. And I think I'm going to do it with Andor again soon. Let's stray over to animated and do the first Star Wars animated show, the Star Wars 2D series. The first animated Star Wars series, back in, I think, 2002, absolutely fantastic. And it's A. It's absolutely A. We had no other Clone Wars series, nothing to breach the gap between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. This was it. Something we always looked forward to. We had a DVD that I ran dry when I was a kid, and it was so much fun. It's better than most of the original, than the current Clone Wars series. That's the newer one. Never seen anything like it. And you get to see stuff that you were only thinking about, like what was happening between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. Oh, and it gave it to you in such a fun, exciting way. While we're at it, let's just do the Clone Wars movie. I'm gonna say D. It was a cool intro, but it wasn't really it was just like, all right. You kind of got to feel who the characters were, which was nice, but it wasn't like overly exciting. It was like, all right, it's the intro, which is fine. You got to have an intro to what you're going to start, but it wasn't like overly like, wow, this is going to be animated. Let's do Book of Boba Fett. I'm going to say C. Now, I still enjoy it, and I still skim through it through the binge that I do, but it was like, okay, so you got Boba Fett, bounty hunter. He survives the Sarlacc pit and gets taken in by Tusken Raiders. The Tusken Raider story is okay, but then it like softens him. I mean, he's a ruthless bounty hunter that worked for the Empire, and now we're going to downplay who he is, his personality, which is fine, I guess. It's whatever. I wanted him to be ruthless. I wanted him to take out Jabba's crew, which he did, take the king, and then just take out everyone in Mos Eisley. Just everybody. The Pikes, just start annihilating them. There's one scene where Shenik Fan, or however you say her name, where she is threatening someone, and he goes, a little harsh, don't you think? A little harsh? Dude, you're Boba Fett. You're supposed to be harsh. Oh, I couldn't believe it. The first time I heard that, I was like, what are you talking about? You're Boba Fett. You should have been the one shooting him in the leg saying, take us to your mayor or whatever. And then, I love The Mandalorian. Absolutely love The Mandalorian. And the 2 episodes that are in Boba Fett are great, but why? Why would you do it? And that's another thing that Disney does, is you have a show that's focused on a character, right? Like Boba Fett. And then you put Mandalorian in there. Why isn't Boba Fett in those episodes? Why'd you do it? You're having a show called Boba Fett. Why are you having 2 episodes on The Mandalorian? Loved them. Why'd you do it? So that was a little weird. But if there's a Boba Fett season 2, it seems like he's going to go the route of being more ruthless. I hope. Dark Chrysanthemum, I think his name is. Black Chrysanthemum. Awesome character. A lot of fun. A lot of cool characters in that show. Could have been a lot better, but it belongs in C for now until they remedy something with that storyline. I don't know. But season 1 in C. Let's go through the Clone Wars. All of it. Clone Wars season 1, D. It's good. A little slow. Now, as a whole, Clone Wars, because it was more kid-like, they had to have a lot of the droid episodes that I skip when I go through my playthrough. No. A lot of them is like, oh, they had a lot of kid-like themes, which is fine. I believe that this show was Y7 to start. I feel like I remember that happening. Now it's PG. It might be animated, but it's pretty crazy sometimes. I mean, Asajj Ventress stabs a clone trooper one time, and then like kisses him as he dies. Animated for kids, huh? Season 2, I feel like if I remember correctly, might be a D or so. We'll put it C. Season 3, also a C. Season 4, Maul comes in. B. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I think season 5 is right there with it being exciting. All of the Mandalore arcs and the Darth Maul arcs, and then when they merge, super exciting. A lot of fun. If I'm correct, I think either season 4 or 5 has the Carnage of Krell, that arc with the clone troopers, Rex, and taking down that Jedi that's going like rogue and going nuts. That's a great arc. Like, I love that. And it's good. It's really good. But then I think season 6 is like it's a D. Like, it's not a bad one, but it's just okay. It was a filler season. A lot didn't go on. Then in season 5, we have Ahsoka end up leaving, which is a crazy arc, and her getting framed by Barriss. And then we just go into season 6, and it's like, all right, we kind of reached peak with the end of season 5. Filler, the stuff going on with Yoda was fun, and him like getting taunted and, you know, attacked by Palpatine through like dark magic. But it's a D tier. Season 7. Well, that beauty right here is A. That's A. Right, it's right up there with the original animated show. It's so good. It's so meaningful. It's more mature setting. Introduced to the Bad Batch. We get Echo back and Maul and Ahsoka battle. And every time I watch that end now, I look up timestamps for Revenge of the Sith and the last 3 or 4 episodes of Clone Wars, and I watch them simultaneously. If you haven't done it, it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun, and you get a different vibe of like what's going on while the events of Revenge of the Sith are happening, and it's a lot of fun. It's so much fun. Season 7 belongs in A. It's bordering on the line of S, but it's not that good, but it's good. Oh, it's good. It's good. Let's just go in chronological order and go Bad Batch. Season 1, B. A lot of fun. Season 2, C. Season 3, we're going to put in B. Oh, man, you know what? No, it is. It really is. It's an A. I mean, for me, it's an A. Season 1 was good. Bad Batch is so much fun, so enjoyable. You get to see it. It's something that's not Skywalker oriented. I mean, it's that's what all these things are. It's Skywalker driven, but that's why I like Boba Fett is also fun. Bad Batch, it's some side thing going on during all of that time, and all of the clones are great. And again, more mature setting, right? Now, season 1 was good. It's such a fun one. You can see other characters you're familiar with, but before you get to see them in like Rebels, like Hera, Kanan, Caleb Doom. Season 2, there are episodes that are A, which are all of the Crosshair episodes. Like him doing a mission with Cody. Oh my gosh. And I mean, Crosshair's character development is the best in the entire show. So much fun. In season 2, you lose Tech, but then season 3 came back recently at the time that I'm recording this and was so good. Hit so hard. The first like 4 or 5 episodes went strong. Towards the end, there were like 2 or 3 episodes that it took a while to build to the end, and you're seeing Echo infiltrate the place along with Hunter, Wrecker, and Crosshair. They're also infiltrating. Omega's already in Tantis, I believe it's the planet, and then you get to see, you know, everything unfold. I mean, there were some dark scenes. Crosshair got his hand cut off. Him and Hunter take out the main dude, I forget his name, and he's the one that's doing Project Necromancer, and I'm just speechless talking about it. It was so good, and that last season just makes you wanting more. Like after the first and second season, you're like, all right, you know, Bad Batch can be done. Right? I feel like it served its purpose. After season 3, you're like, why are we stopping? what are we doing here? And I don't know. I guess there isn't enough views for the show, but oh man, it could have kept going, and I would have just kept binging it, of course. And at the end of the season, we see that Omega is older, Hunter is older, and she's going to go off and do her own thing and join the rebellion as a fighter pilot, which is going to be a lot of fun if we see her in anything in the future. Someone was saying that they saw her with a Skeleton Crew emblem. Maybe she's going to be part of the Skeleton Crew, the show that's going to be coming out with Jude Law soon. If so, cool. I'm down to see some more Omega. Bad Batch, such a solid show. Season 1B, 2C, and Season 3A. Absolutely. Absolutely. Chronological order, let's just keep going on with Rebels. Rebels Season 1, we're going to put C. The end of it was a B with the Grand Inquisitor in that battle. But again, another show with droid episodes with Ezra doing some weird stuff. But like as this show went on, I mean, Season 2, B. And I'm only doing that for the end of it. Yeah, it belongs in B. Season 2 was really good. Ahsoka's in the scene. We get Rex. I believe Rex and Ahsoka come in Season 2. I could be incorrect. I'm about 5-6 shows past that at this point in my binge. But, I mean, that end thing with Ahsoka and Vader, oh my gosh. Then Maul comes back into it. So awesome. It's like Maul just keeps coming back. Doesn't die. Season 3, B. Season 4, is that a B or an A? I don't think it's an A. I think Season 1 and 2 are C, 3 and 4 are B. And they're not bad C's. I mean, I'm not going to keep editing the tiers. I'm not going to edit the tiers and change them up saying C+ and whatever. No. If it's a C, it's a C. And they are C's, but the endings are fantastic. You know what? No. I'm going to go back and forth. Season 1 is a C. Season 2, 3, and 4, B. Season 4 could almost be an A, but I don't think that competes with the other ones. So it's a B. And it's not a bad B either. It's just, oh man. Him going after Thrawn, he's more mature this time. Ezra is leading his own path now. Kanan dies and makes a heroic save for his entire family. And then we get to see the world between worlds. And Ahsoka is saved. And a lot happens in Season 4. It could almost be an A, but I don't think it can't compete with Season 7 of Clone Wars and the old Clone Wars. No. Fantastic show. Rebels passes a lot of things in their show than Bad Batch. Bad Batch, it's an argument that I could like that more just because it's more mature. I like that more mature setting. But Rebels also has that hidden mature stuff, just more lighthearted take on doing it, right? And it's still really good. It's still really good. Tales of the Jedi. A. A big whopping A. It's an A. Tales of the Jedi is what every single Star Wars project, animated live action, should be. That dedication to the story, the maturity of it, just all the vibes and the story, the character development of it is just phenomenal. I mean, so Count Dooku's arc in the show is better than Ahsoka's. It's amazing. To see what pushed him to become a Sith and to seeing that, I mean, the Jedi were same thing as Anakin, like restraining him from doing what's necessary for justice. And you also see that he's also becoming a little twisted more than he should. And then obviously at the end, he goes full dark, kills his Jedi friend, and joins Palpatine. But you get to see young Qui-Gon in there, which is a lot of fun. And you get to see just so much that's exciting in that. And then Ahsoka, even. So another thing with Bad Batch and Tales of the Jedi, this is where the animation started taking off. And it started actually with Clone Wars Season 7. But then in Bad Batch, it was getting better. And then Tales of the Jedi, it just looks amazing. The animation is phenomenal. And they're really hitting their stride now with their animating. And it just looks so real. And now with Tales of the Empire, which I'll get to, is just... It looked so good. Almost real. And then we get Ahsoka's arc in Tales of the Jedi. And at the end, we see her battle the Inquisitor. And literally just like in 3 moves, just dismantle him. And he just disintegrates. It's freaking awesome. A beautifully well done show. And I hope they keep making more seasons of Tales of the Jedi. Tales of the Empire. It was a C for me. Morgan Elsbeth's story was fun. It was getting me there, but I think my issue was with Tales of the Jedi. I love Count Dooku and I love Ahsoka. Two characters you want to hear about, right? Morgan Elsbeth and Barriss Offee, I don't care. I guess they wanted to do Morgan Elsbeth because we have her in live action in The Mandalorian, and we have her in Ahsoka. Barriss Offee, though, I mean, we have Tales of the Empire. Pick any of the do the Grand Inquisitor. I want to see how the Grand Inquisitor became part of the Empire, right? How did that originate? We don't need to have anything dealing with Darth Vader because we already see so much with him throughout Star Wars. He is a focal point in a lot of it. But I mean, you could have picked any other main character, right? And we just go with Morgan Elsbeth and Barriss Offee. Now, Morgan Elsbeth wasn't a bad thing. Or you know what? We could have done Thrawn. Anything. Barriss Offee was fine, I guess. Not really. Barriss Offee's first episode was like, all right, this is getting into the nitty gritty. She's going to be an Inquisitor. Second episode was cool. She became a Jedi at the end and decided, you know what? No, I'm not going to walk the path of a Sith and an Inquisitor. I'm going to go back to being a Jedi. But she bombed the Jedi Temple in the Clone Wars. So she despised the Jedi and what they stood for. And she bombed the temple, framed her friend, Ahsoka Tano. And then, I'm going to be a Jedi again. I guess maybe being an Inquisitor pushed her to the limit where she couldn't kill a child or kill another Jedi, like in cold blood. She decided, okay, I'll be a Jedi. Maybe it was like her pushing to her limits. But then the last episode was just like, all right, cool. You know, you looked like you aged 50 years in the span of, 10? She looked old. And then she dies. Maybe. I mean, she got stuck in the stomach with a lightsaber like the rest of them and probably is going to survive. And then her Inquisitor friend walked off with her. And I don't know. It was just like a really dry story. I didn't really care. I think it's because I had no connection with these characters. So it was just, I don't know. Morgan Elsbeth was more interesting. We focused on her rise and revenge for being her entire family destroyed by the Separatists and General Grievous. I mean, he looked awesome. He looked fantastic in that show. Her story was fun. And then we got to see her pre-Revenge of the Sith, during the Empire, and post-Empire. So it was fun. Her story was better, but still a C. I want to see more. I want to see Tales of the Bounty Hunters, Tales of the Separatists. Let's focus on how General Grievous became who he is, right? That can be more exciting. Let's do Ahsoka. Ahsoka is a B. Now, Ahsoka is basically Rebel Season 5, which isn't bad. I think they just should have called it Rebel Season 5, but it doesn't really matter. Title doesn't really matter in this situation. And she's going to find Thrawn, and I think it was really well done. The last few episodes were all right. I think how they chose to do the character of Sabine was all right. I think her becoming a Jedi was not earned. It wasn't earned. And we just decided, okay, let's just give her a lightsaber. Ezra's lightsaber. She has that. That's fine. Well, we're going to make her a Jedi. And by the end of it, she's going to use the Force. And she's going to catch a lightsaber, push people around, and then she's going to force push Ezra onto a ship. Huh? Now I get it. The midichlorians and everyone, if they choose to tap into it, they become a Jedi. But it's like all the time now, people are just becoming Jedis, I guess. Then we have Baylan Skoll and Shin Hati. Oh my gosh, yes. They are awesome characters. And it's a shame the actor passed away for Baylan Skoll. It really is. Because I would have loved to have seen more. Maybe they'll have someone else do his character, but he made that character. He really did. And Ahsoka's character development was great. And then the thing that literally sent this show to the peak, Hayden Christensen coming back as Anakin Skywalker. Oh my gosh. It was so good. And having them have a conversation in the World Between Worlds and him completing her training, encouraging her to fight for her life was so good. And then them traveling back to the Clone Wars, the Siege of Mandalore, so much fun. Oh man. And when I first saw the prequels, I didn't really care for Hayden Christensen. But then as time goes on, those movies age very well. And then you have like a more respect for him and his character. And the fact that he put in the effort to act like the Clone Wars version of Anakin, so cool. And then it seems like he's supposed to be like maybe the father, of the Mortis arc, he's now the father maybe, and leading people through their path as they die and go to the War Between Worlds. I'm not sure how they're going to spin that, if they will, but it really made that cool. But the last gripe I have with Ahsoka was Ezra. It was cool that we found Ezra. That was awesome. But it's like he rejected his lightsaber and said, the Force is my ally, which is fine. Then he goes to force push someone and moves them this far. Literally that far. He stopped the lightsaber was cool. But it's like, dude, you've been sitting here for 10 years. You could have been like becoming the most powerful. I mean, in Rebels at the end, he was powerful. He was very powerful. And then we just getting like force pushing people mere centimeters. Like, what are you doing, man? That's bad. So they could have done him a lot better. But then after Ahsoka, I'm curious to see what they're going to do. I know it's going to be Heir to the Empire, but the book has Luke Skywalker in it. And they better have Luke in the Heir to the Empire. And I hope they're going to have a season 2 to see, I guess, maybe what Ahsoka and Sabine are doing. But I want to see the Heir to the Empire be a movie. It needs to be a movie. If only they could retcon and just totally do away with the sequels, having Luke having his Padawans and stuff, that could be freaking awesome. It could be a lot of fun, but we'll see what happens. Ahsoka is a B, and I think it deserves a B. Let's do The Mandalorian. Mandalorian Season 1, B. Season 2, A. Season 3, C. And that's where we're going to leave it, and I'll discuss. Season 1 of The Mandalorian, 2019. The first show to air on Disney+. This show knocked my socks off. I know people who really didn't enjoy it. They're like, oh, it's boring. It's just dude walking around in the galaxy. He's like, no, that's fine. Who cares? If it's done well, who cares? And there are a lot of stuff like Andor, just walk around in the galaxy trying to start the rebellion that I did care because it was dumb. Didn't feel like Star Wars. This sounded like Star Wars, felt like Star Wars, had nostalgia feels to it, gave you like Easter eggs from old stuff. I mean, it was so good. Oh, it was so good. And then we get Grogu, Baby Yoda. So much fun. Then The Mandalorian Season 2 comes, and it's like, oh yeah, you thought that was good. Watch this. Bring Boba Fett back, right? And he's ruthless in that. Ahsoka enters the scene. It's just fantastic. And then the Darksaber comes in. Bo-Katan is entered in the scene. Things are just building. I mean, building really well. And I think we're going to move Season 3 to B. Mandalorian Season 3 was really good. And I think it was better recently when I watched it all the way through. And I skipped the episode for the Empire. Who cares? Why would you do it? Why would you do it? Why would you put an episode in the middle of The Mandalorian where you stuck him in the middle of Boba Fett and it's means nothing? Like, okay, cool. We got rid of Dr. Pershing. Okay, nice. Cool. He went to the Mind Flayer. And then we have this Imperial officer who's like working for Moff Gideon. And, okay, good for you. You're still with the Empire. Long live the Empire. Great. I don't need to see that episode. Then the episode with Jack Black, Lizzo, and Christopher Lloyd. What? Very random. Like, Jack Black, okay. That's a funny cameo. Giggle, giggle. Cute. Lizzo? Huh? Excuse me? Why are we doing that? That was irrelevant. That episode was just a side quest of an episode. And what I found out is with the Imperial episode and with that episode with Jack Black and Lizzo, if you skip those scenes, the show is made as if like they didn't even belong there anyway. And you get to the grit of the story. So that's what I did, and that's why it made it B. Bo-Katan's story is getting a lot better. She becomes a better character. You enjoy her more. And then we have them dismantling and taking back their home, dismantling Moff Gideon's operation, killing Moff Gideon, and now Grogu and the Mandalorian are going to go on their own in their new movie coming up whenever it's going to come out, and he's training him to be his apprentice as Din Grogu. That's a lot of fun. When I first saw it, it was a C, maybe even a D. Because again, you got to wait between episodes, wait between weeks, and it just leaves a salty taste in your mouth. But now, after I watched it and binged it all the way through, it's a B. You got the Mythosaur in there. I don't know what they're going to do with that, but Mandalorian's reclaimed.